Because I'm willing to go to jail to impede ICE. I don't want to go to prison.
If you run for office, I will convert.
I like hearing the perspective of the other side of a guy that is not a raging asshole. Welcome to Bourbon and Rum, the podcast dedicated to civil conversation. I'm Kent, I like rum, and I'm from the left side of the aisle.
And I'm Kyle. I like bourbon. I tend to be a little more conservative. We're brothers talking politics over bourbon and rum.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking a bottle of, well, I'm not drinking the whole bottle, but I am drinking out of a bottle of Old Forester single barrel strength I picked up. You're seeing this a lot at a lot of liquor stores do this as a barrel pick. And so they'll, like, this is a liquor store. We were at a volleyball tournament with my daughter this weekend, and there's a liquor store nearby, and they had this. But you're starting to see it cheaper, but it's 131 proof. But super smooth. And Old Forester, they got a whole line of stuff. But I did find an interesting fun fact. Old Forester is the only distillery to have operated under the same brand before, during, and after Prohibition. So.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Really smooth stuff. It's good stuff. What do you now? Full disclosure, Kent just got back from a yacht trip to the Caribbean, so I'm expecting him to have cases of Caribbean rum.
No, I bought 2/5 back, but I didn't find the one that the whole time we found a really good sipper called Sparrows. It's made in St. Vincent, and it was a really good, like a all-day sipper. But in the spirit of the podcast, I brought 2 bottles back. I'm not going to spoil the surprise on the one. But this one is called Rivers, and I sent you a link. The reviews are just out of, insane. It's a white rum. It's unaged. It's unfiltered. It's made in hand pot stills, and this is made in the oldest distillery for rum in the world that still uses the old traditional methods. So Mount Gay in Barbados was opened a couple years before this one, but they've gone more commercial. This stuff is right out of the tap.
Man.
It's this is the export version, which is bottled at 138 proof. The in-house stuff is like 151.
Oof.
And the cab driver was like, yeah, if somebody opens a bottle of this in the house, everybody knows.
Yeah.
I wish you could smell. It smells like, I don't know if it smells good or if it smells like a chemistry set. It is incredible. So anyway, here's a dab of that. Cheers to you.
Hear, hear.
Well, good. Hey, I was gone for a week, so we're a little behind on our podcast. But what did anything happen in the world while I was gone?
Yeah, I don't think so, Ken. It's been really quiet. Your boat wasn't. You weren't cruising up near Greenland, were you? Hopefully, you weren't cruising up in that area. But there's big news there. There's big news, a lot going on in Minnesota. That's a little closer to home for you. I figured that might be an area that we could dig into because there's been a lot of news over the last couple of weeks. So I'm sure you don't have any strong opinions about that subject. So I'm sure all these news stories you'll be very you won't have any strong opinions.
We might be safer with Greenland because that's just merely stupid. The other, I think I could probably get into pretty bad territory pretty quickly. Well, let's start with Greenland. Let me ask you this. If there is a national security and geopolitical angle for the U.S. to have some control over Greenland, I don't know, but maybe if there is, If that was your objective, do you think being a complete ass to the people of Greenland and giving the finger repeatedly to Denmark is the likeliest path to get you there rather than some sort of diplomacy and money sort of strategy?
Yeah, well, remains to be seen. I think that's his, whether you like it or whether we can debate whether it's effective or wise is another story, but I think it's typical Trump of he starts talking about something he wants and then slowly the heat turns up until you get to a negotiation. I don't know that it's going to work, to your point. I don't think he's the only person to have thought of strategic value of that territory, but to your point, there's probably other pathways to secure it. But I think it's a bigger, the security play of it is of interest, the Chinese and the Russian interest in that area as well. So I don't know. I'm with you. It seems pretty unconventional, but that's also his approach. So I don't know if the tariff thing is going to move the needle, but I did laugh. All these European countries were headed up there. We're going to send troops. Great Britain sent one Army officer, so apparently they don't see too much of a threat there.
Well, again, to try to avoid this just becoming a bitch fest, like, even if I thought it was a good idea, I honestly am neutral about whether it's a good idea. There's rare earth minerals, it's closer to our part of the world, like, sure. But, well, maybe using this a little bit to pivot, because we're going to talk about immigration and we're going to talk about ICE and what's happening in Minnesota. And I guess, I come back to it. Your whole thing was that you wanted the border secure. I wish Biden had secured that. I'm in favor of a secure border. I'm not anti-border law. But why didn't Trump just close the border? Why the, huh?
I mean, he's, again, I think we've established he's not deporting at nearly the rate previous Democrat presidents have. So, I mean, there's 20 million people that came across during Biden administration, and he's looking to deport those. I mean, that was a key.
I don't think 20 million came across in the 4 years of the Biden administration. I think we're talking about 20 million something total. But
I don't know about that.
But okay, so you got to close the border and you got to deport people. Why you got to dehumanize people along the way? Like, is your reason not enough to just be the reason? Do we have to fan hatred? Like that, I don't understand. If your message is important, if Greenland is important enough to go get for our country, then it's good enough to do it without threatening to roll in true. Like why you got to do all that? It tells me it makes me think that the real reason for getting Greenland isn't that good, and I've got to do some kind of bullshit fan the flames thing to do it. It makes me think that it's not important enough for you or for anybody else to just close the border and deport people when we got to wrap it in a veneer of hatred and racism. Then maybe it's not that important to begin with.
Or maybe it's just ICE doing their job, just like they did under the Biden administration. But you got a governor and you got a mayor that's out there saying that ICE are terrorists, they're Nazis, they're horrible people, they need to get out of our state, we need to attack them. That's my beef with this Minnesota thing is, we had that conversation about, well, Trump is inflamed, his rhetoric inflamed a crowd to go attack the Capitol on January 6th. The rhetoric out of the left is what's causing the riots and the violence and the encounters with ICE. If they just let ICE do their job and shut up about it, it wouldn't be on the front page of the news.
Why is ICE in Minnesota? Pound for pound, if you're worried about illegal immigrants...
ICE is in Texas. ICE is
not in Texas. ICE
They
is
are
not
too.
in
They
Texas
got
at the
shot
scale.
in Texas.
Not at the scale they are in Minnesota. They completely chose Minnesota to try to embarrass Tim Walz, to try to fan these flames. All of this, what Trump wants is he wants to piss normal people off enough that they protest, and then use protests as an excuse to bring in more force. It's completely manufactured.
Totally disagree. I mean, you don't think Waltz and that mayor's rhetoric has impacted the turn of events in that state?
Yeah, probably.
That poor lady that got shot, for instance, why the hell is she out there in the first place?
She was going to pick up her kid from daycare.
So she's harassing police and out there for hours harassing police because...
She wasn't harassing, she was driving away.
She was out there messing with them for like a couple of hours before that whole incident occurred. And who's encouraging these people to go mess with law enforcement in the first place?
If you think that the ICE actions in Minnesota are normal course of business driven by the need to round up people in Minnesota, then you're out of your mind. This was a strategy designed from the start by the Trump administration. And they said so. Like they've been, like there's not a secret about this. They're picking Democrat places to try to stir trouble up.
Okay, but another way of looking at it is all these Democrat cities that all flaunted all of the immigration laws in place for the last umpteen years. We're a sanctuary city. We're a sanctuary city. Come this way. Come this way. And I think that led to a lot of the crossings to begin with.
I just think that if you're really worried about the numbers, about illegal immigrants, what's the poundage Texas versus Minnesota?
Well, I mean, Texas doesn't have sanctuary cities where they're trying to attract.
But you probably still got more Hispanic immigrants in Texas than you do in Minnesota. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the
So if they're the problem, and that's who we're looking for, why aren't we looking at Houston?
Yeah, but they're operating here. That's what I'm saying. I mean, they're operating nationwide.
I don't think that it's nationwide. It's not pro rata to what the problem is. I mean, do you legitimately think that the Trump administration is making a rational decision about where to deploy ICE? Everything the guy doesn't take a crap without trying to piss somebody off politically.
You think that everything is orchestrated by Trump? You don't think they have an organization and a leadership team that figures out how to go operate? You think everything that they do is Trump ordered?
The leadership team, the Kristi Noem. she calls in before she goes to the bathroom.
Who was awarded a medal by Obama.
Now, did he pay for that medal? Was that with the $50,000 or was that before or after? Am I getting that messed up? The bribe that Tom Homan took in a paper bag full of money, that Tom Homan? $50,000 in a paper bag. Tell me the good reasons that you would
2015, President Obama awarded him the Presidential Rank Award for Distinguished Service. Anyways, yeah. I don't think we're going to find consensus here. It's possible.
No, we're not going to find consensus. ICE has been weaponized everything in this administration has been weaponized. And I will be the first to admit that I thought there was Democratic overreach with the prosecution of Trump. I think he ought to be in jail, but I don't think that I don't think the Democrats should have prosecuted, at least for the property thing. The national secrets in the crapper at Mar-a-Lago, maybe, but like there's culpability on the Democrats. But now it's like open season, and I think you think I'm nuts and I'm paranoid, and I'm telling you that there's gonna be a day. I hope our podcast lasts this long. There's gonna be a day when there's a Democrat administration. It's probably going to be a Democrat administration that is more liberal than I am. It's probably going to be a Democrat administration that is a hell of a lot less friendly and tolerant to things that are really important to you. And there's going to come a day when the weaponization of the government is going to be directed at things that matter to you. And I'm going to say to you on that day that remember...
Already saw it in the last administration. It was all over the place. I mean, it's not like it's not like it didn't happen. Of course it happened.
Like what? What did they do?
All of the Trump trials, or the involvement in Twitter and the persecution of people, prior to Elon Musk buying Twitter, and the government censoring what the hell people can say about the COVID vaccine and the COVID virus. I mean,
that
cat's been that cat's been out of the bag a long time. So I don't imagine a place that it's not going to happen. Unfortunately.
Well, buckle up, because it's not going to be good. It's not good for the country, and this is not good. This targeting of Democratic cities, Minnesota, of all of the places. They're
operating in Texas. They're operating in California. They're operating in Louisiana. They're operating in North Carolina, New Jersey.
Number of agents per population of illegal immigrants.
How many public officials are out there telling their people to go protest them and fight them because they're terrorists and Nazis? They're not doing that.
The reason
in Texas.
that I missed our church had a session today after church, like a faith formation thing on. They had an expert in about what you can do to impede ICE legally and what you can't do, just to educate people. So, because I'm willing to go to jail to impede ICE, I don't want to go to prison.
Well,
so
don't
I'm
drive
happy
your car at them, okay? Let's not get shot.
Yeah, well,
and that situation, it's like, I don't know. Again, I'm not taking a stand of who did right, wrong, or what. I don't. It seems bad in any way you look at it. I guess I'm just thinking to myself, and I'd tell my kids, protest. But I start screwing with a policeman and I drive a car toward him, I'm expecting a negative outcome. I mean, you still got to be careful with somebody with a loaded weapon. Whether you think they're authorized to do something or not, there's a measure of, be smart. Protest all you want, Kent, but I don't want you getting shot.
Well, there's a kernel of truth to what you say. And look, I freely admit that. But, I don't even know why the hell they're there in the first place. I think this makes no sense. And...
Well, I guess I'm interested in, I go back to Obama deported a lot more people than Trump. It was ICE doing the deportations. ICE wasn't demonized under Obama, but they utilized the same tactics. It's the same organization. It's the same structure. But Trump's involved, so everybody's like, oh, these sons of bitches are out. They're terrorists and they're Nazis.
But, Kyle, you don't think that this goes back to my original point. If the problem is the border and the deportations, then do that. But we get they're eating the dogs. We get the rapists and murderers. We get people that don't look like us are evil inherently. We get ICE now checking people. I don't know if this was the way they did it before, but now the thing is that ICE thinks you look like you might be Mexican, so we're going to stop you. That seems like a problem to me. That seems like not the country that I want to live in. I'm fine with deporting people. This is the thing. They chose. Kyle, this is an exact case of what we've talked about before. Trump chose an adversarial approach to this. He chose an in-your-face, knock down the doors, separate the mothers from the children. He's deliberately chosen that because there's a certain part of his population that eats it up like cat food.
Yeah, I mean, separate, again, it's the separating from the mothers and children in cages. Again, happened during the Obama administration. The picture for the media was from the Obama administration. Yes, he has made illegal immigration a key tenet of his presidency. But I feel like there's just a whole lot of things that get cobbled together by the left to fight this thing, like, you know, they're out to get everybody, they're racists and blah, 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 blah. He's trying to make the place safer by getting, you know, closing the border and getting the criminals out, getting people that are crossing the border illegally out. And again, it's like even the language he's used isn't any different than has been used by Obama. It's been used by Clinton. But now this is not the case du jour of the Democrat Party. Now it's like, no, we're for the illegal crossings. We're for open borders. And so he's fighting that. And so now he's, you know, he's the Nazi.
I just think that's not true. I'm not for, and I don't speak for all Democrats, I'm not for open borders, and I'm not for not deporting people that shouldn't be here.
But I don't think you're the part and parcel of the Democrat Party. The people that Biden wasn't a radical leftist. Biden was a centrist Democrat, and they were for keeping borders open and people crossing. And now the music has stopped, and people are deporting people, and all of a sudden it's the Gestapo and the Nazis that are deporting everybody. And I'm not like, you know, I would not sit here and defend every law enforcement action like they're, you know, they're perfect. I'm sure there's bullshit that occurs, and I don't necessarily deny that. I'm just saying I think the overall push to lock down the border and deport people was politically popular at one time on the left. It's not anymore. And so now you're going to get hyperbole. You're going to get, they're the Gestapo, they're the Nazis, they're, you know, and all the stuff these people are saying and trying to turn it into a riot.
Well, I'm just saying if it was worth doing because it was worth doing, you don't need the veneer of racism and hatred on top of it. And if that's just a character flaw of Trump and it's just an accident or it just so happens that it falls along the lines of that, and really in his good, clean Christian heart that they pray over him.
He characterized it as a security issue of having people come into this country illegally without any vetting and without any checks as a criminal issue. That's not a Trump off-the-cuff thing. That's people's concern about illegal immigration, is that people are coming into this border, across the border to, you know, committing crimes. That is the whole, like, crux of anybody that is pushing for that. So I'm not going to convince you, and it's fine.
You're not. And I don't think that's the real reason. I don't think that's why people are opposed to it. I think that's a convenient reason that maybe makes people feel good. I think that most of Trump's voters, the real reason is that they realize, they feel it as a job threat. They're uneducated people without a lot of opportunity, and they
I don't feel it as a job threat. I'm not worried about somebody coming across the border and taking my job, but I am worried about being in a place that skyrockets in crime. And I think I'm less worried about petty crime. I'm not worried about, quite frankly, I'm not worried about somebody coming from Mexico. I'm worried about somebody from Syria coming through the Mexican border, which is well documented that you got people coming from a lot of places, or from China, or from some of these places that want to do us harm. So, and we're not disagreeing about.
But
the border.
Like, why is it so hard for you to say that the vilification of immigrants generally is not a good thing? I think your explanation makes total sense to me. I don't even disagree with you on that. But, like, why do you go to such lengths to exclude or to excuse when he's like, they're rapists and they're murderers, they're killing the dog, like that shit? Why can't you disavow that shit? That's what I don't understand.
There are rapists and murderers that have come across the border, and if you're talking about a security issue and there's rapists and murderers coming across the border without any controls, that's the whole crux of the security issue to begin with. Of course, they're not all rapists and murderers. But there were 17,000 convicted murderers among illegal aliens coming across the border. So, yeah, there's millions.
But if I use your stats, that's a really low percentage.
Sure, but
and
granted,
I just but do you really think that he's I don't know. Does the president of the United States not have any responsibility?
Negatively. I've heard him on podcasts talk about most of the people coming across the border just want a job. They're here peacefully. We get that. He's acknowledged that. Again, I'm not.
So why don't we target the criminals?
We have. They've deported a ton of criminals.
Well, it's frustrating. We're never going to agree on this. There is no agreement on this. And it's not because I want the border open, and it's not because I don't want anybody deported that shouldn't be here.
It's because of him. If Biden was doing the same thing, the exact same actions, the exact same Trump activity, you'd be fine with it. It's the words. That's what pisses you off. It's the words and it's the guy.
So it's two things. It's the words. And it's him because I can't stand him. But exactly. But if Barack Obama characterized immigrants as rapists and murderers, I'd be opposed to that.
They have said the same thing, that there are bad people coming across the border. They haven't said all the people coming across the border. But, you go back to the 90s. Hillary Clinton's talking about criminals coming across the border. It's not something new. I think the issue is that who your vision of who Trump is a racist bastard, and he's trying to, he's doing all this, for whatever aims you see.
Full disclosure, I don't think Trump's a racist. I don't think he cares enough about any human being. There's no hierarchy. It's like he doesn't care about people, period. But he is completely comfortable with making racists comfortable with his language. And he doesn't do anything to distance himself from that. I just think it's really interesting that you want to parse his words and no, he never said that they were all that. You cannot, in good conscience, tell me that he's not perfectly happy to be perceived as talking about, why did he didn't say, oh, let me correct the record. I didn't mean that all of them are bad.
He's trying to demonstrate the severity of the problem. So I don't see the guy as a racist based on his friends, based on the people he's close to. I don't think
I just said I don't think that he's a racist. Right. I think that he's totally comfortable. I think he's babysitting racists in his base, and I think he throws that out there to keep those people in support of him.
Again, I don't think immigration's a race issue because, again, the people I'm worried about aren't Hispanic. I'm not worried about Hispanics. I'm worried about other folks coming from other parts of the country, and it has nothing to do with their race. It has to do with keeping us safe.
I wish that you were in charge then, and I wish that the actions of our government was aligned with, even if it's a position I don't agree with, it's a defensible position, and it's not a hate-inspired position.
Well,
but that's your position. That's when you talk about it. That's not what I hear, and that's not what I see, and that's not how I see ICE organized. That's not what I see them pursuing. That's just not what they're doing.
Again, for the record, I totally disagree with you, but I wish you were in charge, Kent. And again, I think you should run for office. I will vote for you. I will campaign.
You are the worst piece of shit in the world, but I think you ought to run for office. Your whole support of my candidacy is like a false flag thing.
No, Kent. If you run for office, I will convert 100%. I mean, whatever the hell you say.
What office would if I go for like dog catcher of can I count on your vote in the 2028 presidential election?
I'm serious. You ought to run.
Oh man, no.
This is a
No.
great time for you. You're about ready to retire. I mean, honestly, the thing is, like, as much as I like to spar with you, like everything you're saying is logical. Like I want to argue with you, but you don't present. I'm not just trying to blow smoke up your ass and kiss up to you.
Let's keep this rolling.
I just, like, I believe what I'm telling you, but at the same time, I don't think you're wrong either. I don't know. Like, I disagree with you, but I don't think you're wrong. And that sounds like a strange, maybe, way to put it, but like you've got valid points. I'm not arguing, and I hope I don't characterize myself as being like the Donald Trump apologist. Like,
No.
I don't have any love for the guy other than, more of a pragmatic desire that he does things well. But I just don't see racism here, but I can see where you see it.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for the nice thoughts. And I'll say the exact same to you, Kyle. I don't agree with you on some of these points. But when I hear, and part of why I like doing this is because I like hearing the perspective of the other side of a guy that is not a raging asshole. That's what you.
Give me time.
That's what you bring to the. No, I'm serious. Like, right, like it is unassailable that it is a good thing to have solid border control of our country. It is now. I'm not super sanguine about the deportations because, again, most of these people aren't here for, free coupons from the food bank. They're here for jobs, which means that they're an important part of our economy. And if indeed we're talking about 20 million people, that's a sizable fraction of our workforce that we can't afford to deport. So,
like we've talked, I wish they'd go to the Mall of Americas and set up a border shop and be like, come in here for 2 hours and fill all this crap out, and you didn't kill anybody. We'll get you
exactly.
Yeah, we'll come up with some kind of big game plan. I love that.
Yeah, no, and we're agreed on that. And again, I'm not like, oh, we shouldn't. I don't think this will land with you, but I feel like the reason that Biden didn't take action on immigration, honestly, is because it had become so personalized and so charged under the first Trump administration.
Yeah.
That, and this happens all the time. This goes to your point where Trump makes everything about him, and you're right. I hate to admit it, but 100% right on that. Which means that he can say that if he thinks that dog shit is bad,
well, but that's
you're going to have people that are going to be like, you can't demean dog excrement. It has inherent value.
Well, and I think that's the, like this whole border thing. I keep, one of my counter arguments, Obama this, Obama, and truth be told, it's probably not a very good argument because, again, that was pre-Trump. The landscape was different. It used to be the right was pro-illegal immigration because they wanted more people in, cheap labor. And it was Trump and Clinton, Obama were, ringing the bell for, cracking down on illegal immigration. And then Trump gets a hold of it. Oh, no, now it's like it's all switched around.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, I do.
Well, and I guess the other thing I'd give to you as well is, yes, here's, I guess, my perspective on when you hear Trump and what he talks about from the language, you see it as appealing to the racist base and, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but more of a conspiratorial approach. And you see my defense as being I'm parsing words. I've said before, I'll say it again, Trump's not a great communicator. I don't like how he communicates because he says something, there's no nuance with the guy. The guy is not going to be, well, let me have a discussion about this, that, and the other thing. And so he's trying to get a point across about security, but it comes off as a racial angle. And I guess I didn't take it that way because that's not how I view the guy. But at the same time, he didn't do a good job of saying, which I've heard him say, but he didn't, to your point, it was not like well spoken, like, yeah, there's murderers coming. Now, most of the people just want a job and they're nice folks, and we need to figure out something with them. And if he'd have said that, and he'd said it in a halfway decent, coherent way, a lot of this bullshit wouldn't be taking place, in my opinion. A lot of this he brings on himself through his inability to make the point. Now, that's me talking. I think your angle is it's all purposeful and he's doing it to piss everybody off.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was going to say. And I do think it's interesting. I hope you're right. That gives me a lot of hope. Like, he is what he is. Like, he's not going to change himself. And to your point, right? So, like, and if the media is like pouncing on every dumb thing that he says, like I can follow that. But you understand why, first of all, like a lot of the stuff that comes right out of his mouth is not things that you would say, that you know what I mean? And like, but why? And maybe I am just looking for monsters here, but like, then why isn't that the defense? Like when this comes back, you're fanning the flames of you're creating these ad hominem races. Like why not come out and say that? And like, because I'm not going to listen to a 3-hour interview with him with Joe Rogan. Why doesn't what's her chick, the communications lady, instead of just saying President Trump is the greatest man ever in the history of the, why doesn't she say, look, you're taking one aspect of this and you're missing the bigger point? And like he doesn't distance himself from that. Is that just because he's who he is, or my fear, my worry, my paranoia, if you want to call it, that yeah, this whole thing's a big frickin' dog whistle to people that hate others, and he's just waving the flag saying, you are comfortable in my party. If you don't like people because of the way that they look, we're going to run with that.
So it goes back to the age-old question: is he stupid, or is it a conspiracy?
I mean, if I had to bet, I'd say stupid.
Well, then you got no issues with him, Ken.
Well, is he not surrounded by anybody smart enough to see that we need to separate that? Like, that's the part. Come on. I can almost get with you that this is a matter of being inarticulate or being taken out of context.
Not even inarticulate. It's just his communication approach. I've seen interviews with him when he was 30 years old. It's the same thing. He gets an idea and he keeps repeating the same message, and he'll say it 6 different ways from Sunday. That's his angle. That's his approach. And I mean, part of the reason why he got honestly, and we talk about like the dynamics of the parties have changed. Part of why, he probably got a lot of Democrats to vote for him is because a lot of those Democrats were the same Democrats who were voting for Clinton and Obama that wanted to do something about illegal immigration. And he's talking the talk about, hey, there's criminals coming across. And, all he's going to say is there's criminals coming across. He's not going to say some, well metered out statement that, well, there's bad people coming across, there's good people coming across. He's just going to keep repeating the same damn thing. And I can't listen to the guy. I mean, honestly, I mean, I support a lot what he does, but because of that, because a lot of it is just he'll say the same thing over and over and over again, and that's like, it's like it's a strategy. Now, I think to your point, your point is the strategy is he's coddling racists. I see it more as he's like, I got one point I can get across. What's the one thing I'm going to leave the crowd with? And then I'm going to say it 6 times so everybody gets it.
Lately, I've been listening to it from podcasts. The Mooch, our mutual friend Anthony Scaramucci,
who I might add, Kent. When I took my latest job 4.5 years ago, my nice brother got a cameo from the Mooch, and I still have that. It's a very encouraging words. He said, I think his advice was get up early, get it done early, or something like that. That was his.
I actually really like him, and he's got an interesting read on what's going on. I'll send you the link. He had Mark Halperin on, and he can have Mark Halperin on because the left, you can't have Mark Halperin on anymore because he got canceled because of his, he was doing some sexual abuse thing, and so he's like 86'd out. But really interesting read on kind of the ICE stuff and the Trump plan. So I'll send you the link to it. I don't know if it's really germane for this. But I guess what it brings me back to is the E word that we haven't said this entire podcast.
It's coming.
And again, call me a conspiratorialist, but I 100% think that he's real happy that we've got protests in Minnesota right now because people aren't talking about Epstein.
Well, and I wouldn't rule it out. And I'm still not pleased with the Epstein resolution. But you're going to say every news article that comes up is a diversion. Well, some of that's just the news cycle in America today. I mean,
it's fairly true.
People get sick of talking about something anyways. I mean, it's going to be Greenland. It's going to be that. It's going to be, what was the other big one over the holidays? There was another big.
Venezuela?
Oh, Venezuela. Yes. That, yes.
Which sovereign nation are we invading? I don't know. I think we've done this enough. I don't want to just go in circles. Like, yeah, Maduro's a bad guy. The world's probably better off with him not leading Venezuela. The timing had nothing to do with the Epstein. Nothing whatsoever. That wasn't
but again,
part of the consideration.
Now you're going to, everything that happens. Well, I mean, timing, it's about the Epstein. I mean, it becomes a bit of a self-defining prophecy.
But don't you think he thinks that way? I mean, am I really that crazy?
I think he's got a lot of plans and he's doing a lot of things. Maybe. Well, I mean, is he not going to do anything? I mean, there's not going to be any Trump news in the news for a month because of,
No, I'm not saying that, but it's just interesting to me because we're not.
And I don't like the fact that it's dying off. I mean.
So what about that dude at the Ford plant? Wasn't it Ford? Mm-hmm. The dude that called him a pedophile protector, which is hard to see that that's not what's going on. And that dude got fired.
Interesting.
Which, I don't know, I guess, we've talked before, free speech. I mean, he didn't go to prison, but he did get fired. But people like me given to a Venmo.
With Trump, or is it with Chris Farley's, is it his cousin or brother runs Ford now? Was it his brother or no? I think it was his
cousin. I think.
Yeah, the guy looks a lot like him.
Mr. Farley's been in the basement drinking coffee for 3 hours. Hey, thanks for joining us on this episode of Bourbon and Rum Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it.
Remember to subscribe on your favorite platform and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us keep the good spirits flowing.
And we invite you to join this conversation. Follow us on our Facebook page. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want to hear.
And until next time, cheers.